Good evening, everyone. I am live, I hope. So, welcome to Monday Night Muse. If you can hear me all right, that's fine. I'll tell you what the technical trouble was. You may have seen my comment. Let's make sure I'm live on YouTube first. But the technical trouble was I had the video on private on StreamYard. I never changed it. So leading up to the point, I'm like, oh, well, I got to make this public. So I heard myself just fine. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. Just say a word. Audio is fine. Visuals fine, and all that good stuff. And then we'll take it away. You are live and we can hear you, says Netters Network. And we've got a special guest in the house. Mohammed, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's go ahead and welcome the chat. I just sat down. I was running a little late. So I'll have to kind of slow down my speech a little bit. But I do see that we have Matthew Flynn in the house. Welcome. I think our first comment was Al. And I did see hashtag I stand with Gina Carano. And we are going to be talking about her. We're going to be talking about her being very professional, very classy in the thick of it, in the heat of a lot, and how we can learn from her. And I would say this really does apply to artists in the business sense, in the professional sense, but I think this can be applied to anyone. I think if you have seen her interview with Ben Shapiro, I've learned a lot from her. And so I have those in notes, but if I'm not touching up on anything, I'd like to hear your thoughts, what you may have learned if you have watched the interview. I originally wasn't going to watch the interview. Part of it was I'm just not really, I know we're part of the geek news and the geek community, but I'm not really following geek news, intentionally, unless it's something that piques my interest. But with Gino, it's been a pretty special case. I also don't listen to political commentary, so I don't listen to figures like Ben Shapiro. So I thought, I'm not really into him. Nothing against him or his person. I just don't listen to political commentators. But I'm glad I did watch the interview. I watched it last night. I was impacted, and I wanted to discuss what I've learned. And I do wish Gina Carano the best. I think the interview was kind of enlightening, based on our experience. We knew what she was going through on social media, but it is very enlightening what went behind the public and professional scenes, with her publicist, with employees at Lucasfilm, her coworkers, maybe not coworkers in the actor department, but people who worked with her maybe behind the scenes, and ultimately Lucasfilm head and also Disney. So it's very enlightening. If you guys have some socio-political stuff, just kind of remember to keep it respectful, keep your comments with a bit of decorum and politeness, and that way I don't get into trouble. But the thing is, I was thinking, I don't know, maybe my channel I'll get into trouble by talking about Gina Carano. But the thing is, her videos of her are just flooding my feed. So I think I'm pretty safe. This is a lesson. This is a teacher to pupil kind of thing. So anyway, without further ado, let's welcome the chat, and then we'll talk about really how cool Carono is. So we've got my Professor Geek ready for my enchanting muse to drop some truth. I hope so, and I hope I do it well. But see, it's not about me. It's about Carono. And Matthew Flynn says this to the professor. And Schooner Tuna, welcome. It's been a while since I've seen you. Welcome. Glad to have you. And Netters Network, hi. I hope you're doing well. And we've got her welcoming everyone in. We've got Horizon Talker. Hello, the chat. And we've got Sean Barnes. Hello. And Skipper Kenner. Oh, saying this, but he doesn't say hi to me. Sad. That's okay. I still support Skipper Kenner because he made a generous donation to my campaign. By the way, actually, just a bit of an update on my album. I wanted it produced and released by the end of the month, but after finishing song 5 of 8, so 5 of 8 songs have been mastered, my engineer got back to me. He's actually out of a workstation. He has computer trouble. So hopefully that will be resolved in a week or so, and I'll have the 3 songs ready for him when he is good to go. But he's out of work for about a week, so I probably won't be sending him anything more this week. Hopefully next, we'll see. So I'm hoping to release it first week of March or second week of March. I've got 3 songs to go, and we'll have an album out soon, sometime. They're all always these hiccups, you know. So welcome, Skipper Kenner. And I think we've got Wolf 10. Oh, hey there, Sound Engraver. And he also says, you know, whenever I wait on Sound Engraver to begin, I keep imagining the sound of an orchestra ready to perform. That sweet sound. You mean when the orchestra tunes, you know, before the conductor comes out? Oh, actually, first the concert master or mistress comes out, and then the conductor comes out. Yeah, it's kind of, well, that's kind of nice. There's definitely a beautiful hush, you know, a quiet, somber feeling when you're in a concert hall, ready to partake of a wonderful orchestral experience. Now, I had green curry for the first for the third time, you know, 3 times in a row, 3 days in a row. So if I'm not speaking that clearly tonight, it's probably because of the green curry. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, and Melissa Harrison Sons, and Dr. Y. Cool. Not the British one with the blue box. That's awesome. And Big Al, yes, technical issues solved. And I think that, we've got Artificer Joni as well. I think I said that right. Artificer Joni. All right. So, yeah, let's first talk about the interview and what I took out of the interview. It'll be kind of slash impromptu slash notes. I've got a few notes. It's nothing long, but I was really enlightened by the interview, by a number of things I think we can take as artists and as people who want to be professional. The first thing is, when you see that interview, at least how I saw it, I saw that as professional and as calm as Gina Carano was on that interview, as peaceful, you know, and as kind as she was to Ben Shapiro, you know, the more she talked, you could tell that she was dealing with an incredible amount of pain. She had gone through a lot. You know, we had seen it on social media, but she had gone through a lot of grief and pain all around her. And I just want to make this clear. I don't care who it is. No one, and I mean no one, should face that much criticism. We don't realize with things on Twitter, we don't realize with Twitter or any social media, whatever it comes to, we don't realize that one single person can be the focus, can be the target of millions of posts and videos and articles of critique. Gina Carano was a target of thousands upon thousands. You know, we had our last president who was billions in the stretch of 4 years. We as a society do not have enough self-awareness to understand that amount of negativity and criticism, valid or not, it doesn't matter, but really negative in a not so good sense. We have lost the self-awareness of decency and decorum and upholding the human person, upholding the human being. When people feel it's okay to be one of a sea of people, you know, one of an ocean of insults and criticism to one person. I had posted something non-controversial that did involve politics one time on Twitter, and I got attacked by 9 people. And that was enough for me. Can you imagine? And I don't care if you're an A-list celebrity or you make under 20K in rural Arkansas. Everyone is a human being. And we have just lost the ability to understand, to comprehend that no one should be the single target of millions of pieces of criticism. It doesn't matter how right you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, speaking from a Christian perspective, it doesn't matter how evil you are. It doesn't matter how evil that person is. Now, I'm not saying this of Gina Carano at all, but no person should face that kind of fire ever. So I did see a lot of pain. I heard a lot of pain in her voice. You could tell that this wasn't acting either. You could tell she was having a hard time relaying these to Shapiro in the interview. You heard the pain in her voice. And I felt for her. I do wish her the best. I know she is strong, but I love that she is a very, very strong, very capable woman, but she's not also hiding the emotion and the pain. But she's also doing it in a professional way. So there's a lot to be had. There's a lot to be shared. So why don't we go ahead and start? My chair is crying. It's crying. I don't want to give up this chair. Yeah. So I'll let you in on what I've taken from the interview, and then I'll have you guys weigh in whether you've seen the interview or not. But it's really eye-opening what one person has faced. So anyway, let's go ahead and pop this up. And this is quite short. I just have a few things. So let's take it away. The first thing, well, I want to front it with this question. What can artists learn from Gina Carano? The first thing is authenticity. And before I begin, most people, by and large, most people value authenticity. They value you being genuine, you being authentic to yourself. You get that in business meetings, career orientations, entrepreneur videos, possibly in the academics, say be true to yourself. You know how that is fostered and cultivated in our movies and in our kids shows and our sitcoms and all of that. So be true to yourself, be authentic. This is one thing that Gina Carano, at least in the context of this interview, has demonstrated. She showed us that it was valuable to her to be authentic, to be genuine. Now, that's all well and good until people everywhere force you and push you to say something you're not comfortable with, to do something you don't feel right about. And when you don't toe the line, that's when they turn on you. That's when they attack you and, sick their dogs on you. They don't like you being authentic when you go against the grain, when you go against their grain, I should say. A lot of people laud artists, particularly actresses, they say, oh, go against the grain, be a rebel. Well, when it's actually a rebel against them and what they believe, then all of a sudden authenticity isn't valued. So when I'm talking about authenticity with Gina Carano, she's true to herself, but she passed the test. She withstood so much pressure on a global scale, on a massive scale, on a level I will most likely never experience, at least on the scale of social media, I should say. She passed the test. She was true to herself in the industry, at least in the Hollywood industry, of course, with MMA, with her experience in MMA, mixed martial arts. But then she proved to us that she is genuine. She's true to herself, even when she's facing the fire and going through that fire. So being authentic, being genuine is really, really important to her. And it's very important to people like you and me who value that on a professional level, but also on a personal level. So she doesn't do or say anything that isn't authentic to her personhood. Things that she valued, she wanted, she says in the interview, she always, in this kind of situation, she always wanted an authentic, a genuine relationship with people. A couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times, she talked about eye contact. She wanted an honest discussion with people who had a problem with her, one-on-one, face-to-face, over dinner, sitting on the couch in her living room. She wanted to maintain eye contact. She wanted to be real with the person. She wanted the person to be a recipient of that, of her honest nature. And one thing that went against, or was testing her being authentic, being true to herself, was her publicist. Pressured, of course, by companies like Lucasfilm and probably Disney ultimately. But her publicist, upon looking over a controversial scenario involving a tweet, asked her to make an apology. Now, Gina I don't think she ever apologized for her tweet. I don't really think she needed to. When she was viciously attacked and accused of being prejudiced toward a people group, she clarified on her tweet that it wasn't directed to that people group. And she thought that was enough. And as far as I'm concerned, on social media and speaking, voice, you hearing my voice, you hearing me speak, that's enough. If you say this was not an attack on this group, that's enough. You don't need any more explanation. It's in the writing. It's as good as an email. It's as good as a letter. Your tweet says, it verifies this tweet was not meant to attack this people group. And that's it. You should be done with that. That's fine. In my book, that's fine. But no, her publicist said, no, this is a problem. This is messed up. You have to make an apology. And I can't remember exactly in the interview how that went about. Either she wrote an apology and they said it wasn't good enough and they wanted her to write it in another way or a certain way, and she just didn't feel comfortable with it. And I love that she's strong enough to resist that. She is demonstrating resilience to say, no, I'm not comfortable with this. And she declined. She's not going to do something that makes her uncomfortable, no matter the pressure. That is real authenticity. That's really being genuine. And I applaud her for that. She was under pressure, not just socially on social media. She was under pressure of a publicist and an employer to do something she wasn't comfortable with. That's a hostile work environment. And she stood her ground and she said no. She was satisfied with her tweet clarifying what her previous thing wasn't about. And that's fine with me too. So authenticity, that's one thing that she values. That's one thing I took from the interview. The second thing is professionalism. Carono gave us in that interview a professional demonstration of conveying logic or expressing logic over emotion. On that controversial tweet, she was pushed to respond emotionally. Now, on the one hand, she was probably personally tested on social media itself to respond emotionally to emotional attacks against her and allegations and accusations. But her publicist, her interview, she mentioned either a publicist or someone else. They said, no, that's not good enough to just respond coolly or clarify something. You have to respond emotionally. You have to respond to emotion with emotion. That's not professional. That's not professional. On social media, on a public forum, in a meeting, virtual or otherwise, you do not respond to emotion with emotion, and she didn't. She declined responding emotionally to emotional posts. And if you've been on Twitter, if you know about Twitter, it's not even just emotion running high. It It is antics. It is psychotic, emotional antics on Twitter. People I know aren't themselves, or maybe they are, I'm not sure, but it is psychotic behavior. It is psychotic behavior that you see on Twitter. It's not normal behavior. It's not normal engagement between one human being and another human being. So she didn't. She maintained her professionalism, as far as my knowledge is concerned, understanding what she said in the interview. She maintained professionalism by not reacting emotionally to emotional attacks on social media. And she was pushed to, which has me, it has me believe, well, maybe actors are pushed to respond emotionally. Maybe that's part of the publicity. Maybe it's required. So whether it's required or not, I'm not sure whether actors are actually pushed to do that or not on social media. It's good that Gina Carano didn't. She didn't do anything short of engaging and not retaliating in an emotional way. Now, all this to say is I don't know the history of her tweets, but it's to the best of my knowledge, I don't know if she retaliated in a way where she was attacked. That's that. And I think that's pretty admirable, despite her being run through in a social ringer like Twitter and also her employer. And it leads me to a pretty important point on professionalism, what she said in the interview. Sorry. I had really good curry soup. On emotion, on responding emotionally to emotion, you just don't do it. Her agent was pushing her to speak to a community group that they felt she attacked, even though that's not true. She was not attacking them directly. Her agent was saying, hey, we need you to talk to this group right now. And this is in the heat of getting slammed on social media. And she said, listen, I need a break. Can you give me a break? Let me do my research. I'm feeling very emotional about this. I need time. That is really good self-awareness. That is professionalism, where you understand you cannot make a decision based on emotion. You can't make big, important decisions, especially involving the public, when your emotions are running high. She knew. Carono had enough self-awareness to say, I cannot make a decision, yes or no. I cannot make even that kind of decision after thinking it through. I need a break. And in the interview, they wouldn't let her have a break. They said, no, you need to get this fixed right now, which is really eye-opening. I think whether you're a contractor or an employee, for an employer to do that, for an employer not to gauge with how you're feeling about a situation and pushing you to doing something very uncomfortable, that is hostile. That's a hostile work environment situation. And they did not respect, they did not understand and help her mental well-being. They didn't consider her mental well-being. And that's abusive. That is very abusive for an employer to do that to an employee. But she didn't. From what I could understand in an interview, she thought, okay, I'm very emotional about this. Give me some time. And I love that. I think that's very important that we understand if our emotions are running high, especially women, if our emotions are running high, we really should give it a day or two until we are level-headed again to decide what's next. You really have to make your decision calm and collected and level-headed. So I really do applaud her for that. And finally, so we talked about authenticity and professionalism. One thing I really do appreciate about Gina Carano is she has command and presence. Carono has presence. She is attractive. She's very easy to look at. But one thing that attracts me to her as a woman is her voice. Her voice is low. And in this interview, she spoke very slowly. She was piecing together her thoughts and speaking in a succinct way. And you might not think it was succinct. Maybe there were times where she was faltering, but we have to keep in mind what her state is, her mental and emotional state. She just had this roller coaster of a ride with publicity, with social media, and with her previous employer. So if she falters in her answer, if she's having a hard time answering, you can see she's just had a very difficult time relaying this pain to the public eye, in this interview. But she doesn't really get emotional. She speaks low, she speaks calmly, she speaks with peace, as much peace as she can have, and she speaks slowly. And I think this is really important for women. This is important for everyone. But in my experience, it might be subjective to my experience, but I will say this: in my professional experience, customer service, teaching, whatever the case may be, I, as a woman, I'm not taken as seriously if I don't speak low and slowly. I think generally, and this is just general, it's not in every case, but generally, women will be taken more seriously when they speak low and when they speak slowly. When they speak with kind of a calmness about them, when their voice doesn't fluctuate, when there's resonance and good consistent volume. In the business world, women are taken more seriously, and they will be listened to more easily when they speak in a low voice. So I don't want to compare her to Brie Larson in a way that puts Brie Larson down, but I'm speaking about Brie Larson's voice. And guys, on the comments, be kind. I know people like to bash Brie Larson, but I'm not about that. But her voice is very high and pinched and pitchy. I'm not going to demonstrate to mock her, but just to understand what the difference is and how people receive it. But she kind of has a really thin voice, and she has kind of like an inflection and like this. And this actually is really kind of sounding like a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old. And I'm not downing 13-year-olds. They're developing, but Brie Larson is, I think, almost 30, or if not 30. And her voice causes her to sound like someone who is not fully developed as an adult. This is very, very important. Carono, on the other hand, is very attractive. She's very easy to listen to. And I think people will resonate with her. They'll respond to her positively. They'll respond to her experience positively because she has a very calm demeanor. And her voice is really, it's really attractive. It's very, very easy to listen to. That causes her to have command and presence. So I will say this isn't true of every woman. I know women who have very high voices that are also taken seriously, but at least in my experience, I have gotten out of predicaments and binds and all sorts of problems because I dropped my voice and I slowed down my speech. Carono already has that, and she's probably trained to have that, but it's really, really important to have that for not just women. I think for people in general. So authenticity, professionalism, and command and presence. And I think because of that, because Carono has demonstrated that, I think she will have a good career going forward. And she might not be as known as if she were an A-list actor in Hollywood, but that just doesn't matter. That's another thing for artists and for artistic professionals, artists to know, is don't gain the world and compromise yourself. Scripture says, what is it that a man should gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Now you can apply that spiritually, but even in the professional sense, don't go for the big shots. Don't go for the big publishing houses or record labels or Hollywood or anything like that. If you're going to compromise yourself as an artist, I would much rather have a small community, of people listening to my music and reading my stories than all the audience in the world and have my art and my artistic expression compromised. And so wherever Gina Carano goes after this, she will have a following. She will have her own brand. I think she will actually. Nerdrotic put it this way: she's actually free. She actually has her own brand. She's not a Disney actress. She's not a Star Wars actress. You know, she's got her brand in the MMA, but then she's also got a brand as maybe potentially her own film producer. Maybe she'll produce films after this. It's really cool. So I hope, I wish her all the best. I hope she's going to have a great career of collaborations and fun projects. And all, you know, the best part of it, she most likely, especially after her experience, she's not going to ever want to deal with a hostile work environment like that again. I mean, not to sound political, but, you know, people time and time again, you know, for years, for especially the last 4 years, but, you know, for the last 4 to 8 years, it was all about allegations and bullying and harassment. And she got the brunt of all of that. And so I know she will never need to put herself in that position again. So that's what I got out of that interview. For those of you who watched the interview, or just what you think about that, or if you've learned from anything, or if you've learned anything from an interview or from my speaking, just let me know. Yes, I did mention the album. So yeah, the album is 5 out of 8 tracks are mastered, and 3 tracks have yet to be mastered, but I'm pretty much ready to send them. I just have a couple things. In fact, I'm going to work on a couple songs tonight. And Jedi Masters Utopia, I think I missed you. I'm sorry. That's right. I do too. I forgot about that. You know what I should do? I probably won't do this because I'm so busy with other projects, but I should, that's probably copyright. I should do like a Jeopardy theme remix and front my videos with that, or my live streams with that. Everyone spread Big Al's hashtag. I hope it's trending. Yeah. And you know, social media didn't boot her off, so that's good. So she still has a voice there. All right. Wolf10 says, the real eye opener from the incident I've been saying for some time now is we could all end up like Gina in our workplaces. They're being intrusive with our social media. So I've got this idea. I'll be honest. I didn't think it through all the way. I'm sure there are many factors to weigh in. But Wolf10, you raise a good point. I find it really odd that a company, any company, but especially a company like Disney, a hegemon, you know, a monopoly, so to speak. How in the world could they keep track of what their employees post? How in the world can they take responsibility? As far as I'm concerned, a company should not take the responsibility of people's tweets. The only thing, the one exception is if it involves the company itself. If the employee is defaming the company or giving information they shouldn't about the company, or berating and harassing employees and employers. That's the only exception I can say where a company should take responsibility over a social media post. How in the world can someone like Disney, or a company like Disney, it's not a person, it's an entity, but how can a company like Disney take responsibility of all their employees' interactions on social media? It's impossible. And not only is it impossible, it's unnecessary, because a social media post, especially regarding politics or religion, It's not an endorsement. That company, just by hiring that person, is not endorsing what that person is saying. How do I know? Unless the job market has changed, what do you see on an application? We do not hire based on race, gender, religion, creed, orientation. That right there is the regulation that can say, we don't endorse anything you guys say about politics. We don't endorse anything you guys say about your religious beliefs. It's right there in the application. We do not employ based on these things. Good. That means you don't endorse those things either. There's no way a company should ever be held accountable for political posts on social media. I find it odd. I find it real odd. If the person is, trashing the company or being crude about employees, or posting things that are illegal, okay, that's one thing. You gotta make sure your employees are doing things as law-abiding citizens, of course. But as far as politics, that's quite ridiculous that Disney feels that they should take responsibility of Carono's posts. Because what that signals is, oh, we got to hide her posts because we don't want other people to think we're endorsing them. That shouldn't be an issue. That's a moot issue for a company, for any company. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legality of the situation, but unless unless it has to do with the company itself or those within the company, employer, employees, or whatever the case may be, the company shouldn't be held liable or responsible. That's just ridiculous. So that's just my take. Five of Eight makes your album sound like a Borg. Is that a Star Trek reference? Wolftown says, and making judgment calls that have nothing to do with the workplace, nor does it violate the workplace conduct. I know. It's not an endorsement. Okay. I'll give this example. Come on, guys. Come on. Every Chick-fil-A, not every Chick-fil-A employee is a Christian, but it was founded by a Christian. Chick-fil-A is not going to hire Christians only. But if there's a Chick-fil-A employee that says something against the Christian religion, or maybe something that is in opposition to the Christian religion by having another piece of religion, that's not on Chick-fil-A to say, oh, we don't endorse this. No, of course you don't endorse it. It's fine. That is your employee's religious beliefs or ideas. So I'll stop. That's just an idea. This is just an idea. I could be way off base, but it's just an idea. Excuse me. Why did my chat jump down? All right, it just jumped down without my permission. Goodness. All right, I'm gonna try to go through these comments responsibly, guys. Schooner Tuna says, Gina Carano is a good person. She didn't even badmouth anybody in the interview. Yeah, I saw that too. She knew of people, but she didn't say anything. I mean, yes, she spoke about her bad times, but she gave no names, and she even complimented Pascal. That's pretty cool. And that's professional. That's nothing short of professionalism. Yeah, she didn't trash talk anyone or even insinuate. There was no insinuation. She was very respectful. So I think we had run into this discussion before. Yeah, and that, um, I can't tell an employer what to do and what not to do, but um, I don't. I just personally think it's an impossibility to maintain that. If my employer is an atheist who is dynamically opposed to Christian views and I post something Christian on social media, I can't. He by him or her by hiring me is not endorsing my Christian faith. But I feel like I'm belaboring the point. Let's go ahead and continue. Oh, actually, Skipper Kenner, let me just read so it's put in context. In my profession, we are accountable for everything we post or do on social media, even if it hits the radar, especially if we identify ourselves with the jobs in the process. I do understand that to an extent. Green curry? Sounds yummy. Yeah, I usually eat red curry if I do get curry at all. But I decided to try green curry, and it was good. It's a little, at least with this brand that I bought, it's a little hotter. It's a little spicier than red curry. Today was vegetables with chicken. So chicken green curry with rice. Horizon Talker says, never had green curry, only the yellow kind. Yellow's not in the section that I purchased. I think I've had yellow curry before. I probably would like it. I feel like I've had yellow curry with Indian food. Yeah, actually, so let's kind of raise this point on how professional she was acting. Exactly. She did not want to put anyone on the spot because it was about bad-mouthing people. She was not about that. It was about, or you say it wasn't about bad-mouthing people. I'm sure that's what you meant. It was about bringing awareness to the atmosphere at Lucasfilm and Disney and Hollywood. Muhammad says, it's funny how much it takes will, drive, and mental strength to paint Gina in such a way. I had to respectfully debate a friend about her. It made me realize her situation could end my friendship. I mean, see, I'm really not about news, geek news or otherwise. I'm really not about news or popular culture or popular entertainment ending friendships. I never want to be so involved with news or popular culture where it would actually end a friendship. People might disagree with Gina Carano. People might not even like her, but it would have to be something fundamental. There would have to be like a fundamental difference before I could end a friendship. So that's I'm sorry. Social media's greatest fault lies in the belief that everyone has the right to say what they want about anything and attack anyone about their viewpoints. I just don't understand it. I remember Gary Vaynerchuk saying social media, what did he say? People complain about social media changing society and stuff. Sorry guys, that was really hot. I think I brushed my hand against a cable. I hope you didn't hear that. Hope it didn't scar your ears. Gary Vaynerchuk said, social media has never changed people. It's exposed people, meaning even if we didn't have social media as a part of technology and our online exchange and platforms and all that good stuff, we would still be who we are. Just because you put out so much hate and vitriol on social media, that doesn't mean you had been changed because of social media. That doesn't mean you had been pressured by other people because they were doing the same. They haven't been changed. They've been exposed. That kind of heart was there to begin with. Could have happened with, handwritten letters, could have happened with landlines, could have happened with congressional meetings. I mean, yes, but we do really lose our self-awareness when we think we can attack one person. One person getting this slew of hate. When she posts, when she makes posts, and I think she recently posted her interview, she got a lot of support, but then she just got a lot of heavy criticism. And it was like 350 comments. I can't deal with that. I don't know what prompts people to think that I'm just one comment out of a sea of comments. It's like, that's part of the problem. You're contributing to that, and it's not right. It's malicious. It's really bad. Samuel Proctor raises a good point. See, I don't really know anything about the Daily Wire. I don't know anything about Shapiro. So I don't know how much of a platform he has, but it looks, we should check it out now. We'll check out the count. I bet Shapiro is going to be the next Even Van Sciver of the film industry, and Carono is going along for the ride out of the burning building that is Hollywood. Yeah, riding into the sunset. Let's see if I can see it from here. The Gina Carano interview. I'm pretty happy about my thumbnail. It took me a couple hours. So, okay, in one day, it's already reached 2 million views. So yeah, he has a following. And that's not to say, he's got subscribers and people subscribe to his online presence, the Daily Wire. So 2 million. Okay, so to be honest, guys, okay. Okay, so that interview, let's give this some perspective. That interview in the course of a day, it was released, today's Monday, right? It was released last night sometime. I think it was in the afternoon, Sunday afternoon, Eastern time. 2 million views in one day, a little over a day. And Batwoman, CW's Batwoman, has like under 350,000 views. Some perspective there. And that's one day. It's probably going to get more over time. Muhammad says she didn't even have strong political views until they told her she had strong political views by not doing the one thing. It's like they made their own villain. Yeah, Disney's good about their for people who don't know how to write villains that well. And I'm talking about like new Disney. I'm not talking about old Disney. But yeah, it's really strange. I'm kind of tired. I'll be honest with you guys, authentic, right? But, polite as well. She's professional. She's polite, even though she's authentic. You don't have to be surly and inconveniencing people and going, blah, 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 I'm authentic. No, that's not about it either. Be professional and authentic at the same time. What am I going with that? Where am I going with that? Let's see. I think I forgot my point. Oh, yeah. I hear a lot of commentary about this whole thing with Gina Carano, and I'm rather tired of people even agreeing with her or not agreeing with her. I'm rather tired of supporting her, but also saying I may not agree with everything she says. That's not the point. It really does not. In this case, in this situation, it really does not matter what she has posted. This problem rests outside what she has posted. So I'm not going to say I agree with her. I don't agree with her. I believe her posts are controversial. I don't believe her posts are controversial. If you want my humble opinion, you can ask me of my humble opinion, but I'm not going to front my support to Gina Carano with, oh, I might not agree with her post. No, it's stop it. It's like softening. It's like baby powder. Stop it. It has nothing to do with her posts. I know that sounds strong, I know that sounds harsh, but the problem itself, I'm not talking about that her posts aren't in and of itself problematic, even though I don't think they are. Okay, you got my humble opinion. Whatever. You got it out of me. The problem is way bigger than her posts. It's outside her posts. So anyway. Samuel Proctor says, never apologize to the mob. They don't want an apology. Now, what she did was good enough. She said this was not an attack on this group. That's good enough. That's good enough. Never apologize. It's a sign of weakness, John Wayne. I mean, I think there is always room for an apology. Like, you know, if you get in a fight with your spouse or something like that. Or you know, one time I was under a lot of stress one time at my work a few years ago. I was a receptionist, and I accidentally hung up on the CEO. Or no, I was putting him on hold, but I couldn't unhold him. I couldn't pick up the receiver. Like somehow the phone wasn't working, and some other sales girl was calling, and then the project manager was trying to take the phone, take my phone. He was trying to help the situation. I just lashed at him. I had never been so stressed and so angry. And then before I took care of the situation, took care. I don't think I did. But the thing I did take care of was I stormed off, and then I cooled off, and then about 4 or 5 minutes later, before I could start crying, I apologized to him because that was so out of line. My flaring up at him, and I was so embarrassed. I was so angry, and my anger embarrassed me, and so I didn't get prideful. I didn't whisk it away like it was no big deal. That was a really serious thing for me, and I did apologize. So there's always a scenario where it's good, it's honorable to apologize, say this was a mistake. I'm sorry. I should not have done this to you. But the social pressure that we see on social media, especially to celebrities, they don't ask for an apology. They ask for this admission to something. Like, you need to admit to your evil. You need to admit to your wrongdoing. You need to admit that it is not wise for you to offend us. That's the apology they're looking for. And that's where you say, no, my clarification was good enough. I was not attacking this group of people. That's good enough. I mean, she said in the interview that she was talking with a couple people from this particular department that sounded like it was in Lucasfilm. I'm like, why is this in Lucasfilm? I don't think it's in Lucasfilm, but they're like, you need to talk to this part of our department. I'm like, there's a political group in your department? Like, they have a department? That's kind of strange. Is there a Christian department? Sign me up. I mean, it just sounded weird, but she talked with a couple of them, and they told her. They told her, I think this was a separate group. The publicist said, get in touch with these people. A day later, she got in touch with them, and they said, this went out of hand. We understand that you didn't mean anything hateful. They told Lucasfilm that they should not cancel her. They told Disney that they should not fire her. And it wasn't enough for Disney. I mean, that's so when the group that you're supporting says, hey, this is not a good idea that you cancel her, do not cancel her. When the group you're advocating tells you not to do that and you do it, you know this is more than just political sentiment and compassion for a people group. It just fell on deaf ears. Anyway. Skipper Cantor says, what I saw of her interview, she came across very professional. Yeah, in spite of, she was obviously hurt, and that's not acting. She was not acting hurt. She still is overcoming. It's like an aftershock effect. She's overcoming the shock of everything that's happened to her. Schooner Tuna says, for crying out loud, the tweet was pale in comparison with some of the other tweets Lucasfilm personnel have done. Don't take my word word for it, read him, and it is pure psychotic, sociopathic, and evil. Yeah. Which proves the point. It has nothing to do with the tweets. It has to do with something else. Responding, Skipper Kenner says, responding to emotion with emotion doesn't seem sensible to me. Acknowledging the emotions and feelings of others, yes, that's true. Responding to emotion with emotion is counterproductive, in my humble opinion. Yes. Be like Vulcans. Logical. Yes. I should probably look this up because I don't. Wait. That sounds familiar. I gotta look up this name before I say happy birthday, because okay. I think I'm saying this right. I don't know who this is. Who is this person before I wish happy birthday? But welcome, Milano. Nice to see you. I think you stay tuned to my SuperCollider videos, if I'm not mistaken. Knitters Network said she handled herself very well and explained everything very professionally. Several times I could tell she was trying not to cry because this whole thing is so upsetting for her. It has been so upsetting for her. Yeah. I think if you're not emotional on some level from that kind of pressure and onslaught, you would have to have faced that so much before to be having been desensitized to it. Longest running superhero RPG on Earth. Welcome. Nice to see you. I'm also concerned about, Skipper Kenner says, I'm also concerned about live broadcasting towards a hostile group. It seems like Zoom version of Twitter angered to me. Yeah, so if you guys didn't catch the interview, she was talking about how she was, and I think she declined, but they were pushing her. Her employers were pushing her to talk to the group, to talk to this group that she allegedly offended. 40 people on a Zoom meeting. Okay, so I'm a teacher. I've had teacher meetings on Zoom. I do Zoom lessons online. You guys who work remotely, you've probably been on Zoom. You've probably had meetings on Zoom. I've had recitals. I've seen recitals on Zoom. It is to have that situation in such a virtual, with such virtual friction as a platform like Zoom, that would already be cumbersome enough. That would already be terrible enough. But to be, I would rather have it be in person, and that would be hard enough. To imagine sitting in a chair and you've got 40 people criticizing you. Guys, that is soft interrogation. That's interrogation. Might not be on a physical level, but it's on a psychological level. You don't do that. You don't do that to an employee. It's like if you were a lecturer and you were teaching a class of students, like 40 students, and intelligent students, like, people, let's say people 30 and up, not 19-year-olds, but, people who could really take you on in an argument, or not, but just be aggressive. And they disagreed with you. They wanted to vent. They wanted to display their anger at you. 40 to one person. That's humiliation. That's a humiliation ritual. That's evil, guys. That's evil. It's really like it kind of creeps me out just thinking about that. Anyway. Shot down in flames. Yeah, the tweet itself was nothing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, I mean, it is my stream, so I'll just give my humble opinion. I didn't see any controversy about her tweets. The ones that caused her to lose her job. I don't know her Twitter history, but those tweets in question, it was just the problem was it was a misinterpretation, and she was accused with with a slew of misinterpretations. The 9 people that got on me for my political post, and it wasn't even political, guys. I was accused of killing people. That's how psychotic Twitter is, okay, guys? That's why I just post music and endorse music, because it's just people aren't real on Twitter. Jedi Masters Utopia says, reacting emotionally is like giving in to a child throwing a tantrum. Good for Gina for wanting to respond with reason and logic. Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, I'm not a parent, but can you imagine if a parent responded to a tantrum with a tantrum? Would that better the child? No. Tweeting is for the birds. A-okay. I like it. I'm kind of I'm not encouraging dad jokes. I'll block them, but I'm kind of sucker for dad jokes if they're well done, but it has to be a good dad joke. Okay. Let's move on down. If you're a man sound engraver, that statement about taking a day off as a women for emotions, whew, would that have canceled you right then and there? Yeah. I mean, this is also, guys, you writing, you writers out there talking about, writing strong female characters. Gina Carano is the perfect model to go to because she's very strong. She's got acumen. She's got experience. I mean, she's got awards. She's like, I didn't know this about her, but she's pretty much a frontier concerning women in MMA. I didn't know that. I knew she was an MMA professional, but I guess she was really, leading the call, just leading the charge there for women in MFA. Come on, Disney. I'm sorry. That's pretty funny. Disney is afraid of a woman who led the charge of female MMA fighters. I find that so hilarious. They're all about, we support, and Thor Skywalker. So I was about to say, we support strong female characters. The Force is female and stuff like that. They couldn't handle Carono's Force. She's a force of nature. So Thor Skywalker, he had a pretty good video. But the title of his video concerning this interview was really good. The theme was Disney supports strong female characters, but actual strong women, not so much. That's hilarious. I mean, in a sad way. Like, we'll support characters, whatever characters they think of, but actual people in real life, they can't support. In fact, they're afraid of. I cannot pretend to understand Twitter, but I recognize the need for caution in posting. Yeah, I mean, to me, Twitter, I'm using it only for my music. I'm only using it to showcase my music. I'm not even getting that much traction. Famous people aren't even getting that traction. That's how messed up that platform is. I mean, I don't want to say messed up because I still use it. I still want people to, look for me. And if Twitter's the place to look, then they'll look there. But people like Joe Satriani, famous guitar player, world famous guitar player. And even his tweets are, for someone with his audience, with that kind of audience, that kind of scale, he's not even getting that much traction. I'm noticing this with famous people. It's really strange. So I don't feel so bad when I don't get the traction because even famous people aren't getting the traction. I don't know how Twitter works, really. No, I do know how it works. Twitter from the start was always about instant news, tweeting about instant news or what is trending. So Twitter is going to give you an advantage if you are posting things that are trending and that are politically or socially advantageous. But actual merit, actual scholarship, actual, like you if you publish a book, if you have an audience like me, I'm bound to get like 10 likes for publishing a book. That's how unimportant my presence on Twitter is. Just do it to showcase my music, pretty much. It's not worth being political or social, because that's not the energy I have. That's not the time I have. Samuel Proctor says she also exposed what was only assumed, that there are not only a few closeted conservatives in Hollywood. They're all over Hollywood sets in fear of losing their jobs if their tongue slips. And that's the thing, is like, and again, I don't care what part of the spectrum you are on. You should never be afraid of losing your job. Now, I remember this. I remember one of the girls before me. Like I held my job down for 3 years, but girls before me, like receptionist girls, because I started as a temp. When you start as a temporary position, it's very easy for the employer to understand. Well, you have 90-day probation, and then we'll see if we'll hire you. Well, they did. I stayed for 90 days. Like, wow, you stayed for 90 days. I'm like, doesn't anyone? But apparently, there were a lot of people before me, like 2 weeks, 1 month, a week, 3 months, whatever the case is. But one of the girls before me, before I got the job, she had Christian paraphernalia all around her office space, like where solicitors and customers and CEOs could see. I'm Christian. I probably agree with all her paraphernalia, but that's not appropriate in that kind of environment. That's a distraction. It's actually physically taking up your physical space and also someone's mental space. They are distracted. They come to learn about the company or work for the company. They don't need to be distracted by your Christian paraphernalia, so anyway. So what was that? What was the point of that? I think it was, you should be a professional. I'm Christian, and maybe I'll speak about my Christian views at work if they're open to that idea. But I shouldn't fear for my job. But you know what? Religion now is nothing. Religion, sentiment, and expression is nothing to political expression, because politics have become this god to sacrifice, to the altar of this political god. And so, and people are, companies are really put under pressure. They're put under pressure. Yeah. So, and I do pray, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, I just do hope that people aren't afraid of their jobs. That if you're afraid of your job for who you are, and you're doing your job very well, and you're not maligning anyone, you're not defaming the company, you're not doing any of that crud, you should be fine. That's the whole thing. If you're not fine for just being a normal employee and a law-abiding citizen, you're in a hostile work situation. It's 10. Does anyone know where Sound Engraver is? I hope I'm here. Well, you make me want to see. Yeah. Okay. I'm there. Don't scare me. Is that a reference? Wolf 10 says, Sound Engraver, you are right about one thing. I've watched that interview and taken in on how to properly conduct myself, not just from Gina, but from Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. Yeah. There's something quite admirable seeing someone keep their cool, hold their ground, be polite, be respectful in a very tense situation. Even if it's something like being in a disagreement with your interviewer or with whatever the case may be, that's really admirable. I think emotion is overrated. I'm not saying be devoid of emotion, but I mean, I agree and disagree. I do agree that she, in many instances, she has become very unlikable. I don't think hate is ever warranted, and I think that's just me. Like I don't personally like what she has said or done, but I don't have any hate for her. It's kind of like when Gina Carano says, "I don't have hate. I don't have hate for this group of people. I don't. You won't see hate. I'm the same way." I kind of bonded with Carono with that interview because she had the same voting experience as I have. I know. She's like, I'm not proud of it, but it was my first time voting. It was my first time voting too. I'm not proud to say that. I'm in my 30s and she's in her 30s. But we found that it was important, so we did. And her experience with what she tweeted about with voting was totally my experience. That's a totally legitimate concern, guys. I was like, hey, you want? Sorry, I'm gonna say this, but hey, so they look up. I have a mask on my face, right? And they look up like name, address. I'm like, okay, yeah, yada yada, such and such. And then I have my ID ready, and they're like, okay, you can go. Here's what you need. And I'm like, but I have my ID. And I'm like, and I kind of looked at her like, don't you want to ask me for my ID? So like you can memorize someone's name and address and you know, it's weird. So, but she shares my middle name too. She's Gina Joy Carano. My middle name's Joy as well. I love it. But as far as she doesn't have hate. I've never felt hate. I feel I think the person can be disagreeable. I think they can be unlikable, but I don't have resentment or hate for someone. I know Larson is not helping herself, but you know, I know, I mean, I might lose 10 viewers right now, but I don't have any resentment or hate for Kathleen Kennedy. You know, I should pray for her. I should pray for her decision-making process, but I actually don't post about her on or anything that involves her on the Professor Geek Facebook group page, because I said one thing and there was like this slew of comments that was such negative energy toward her. And I just don't like it. I just don't care for it myself. Scooter Tuna says, is it wrong I want to see Gina Carano arm wrestle Brie Larson? I would pay to see it. Why would you pay to see something that would happen in less than 0.5 seconds? Gina Carano's MMA champion. I did I didn't do. I was interested in doing mixed martial arts. I did kickboxing. I did a class for about 5 to 8 weeks. I love kickboxing. I haven't done it in years, but if I did any sport or any form of workout, it'd be kickboxing. And it's not easy. It's fun though. And it really is. It's a great way to, you know, unpack that stress. All gone wrongful. Plenty of American and Aussie people, both male and female, have that upward lilt at the end. Like everything is in a question. Yeah, it's irritating. I do try to, I've practiced a long time not to have that question. That kind of question kind of thing. Now, sometimes I will phrase an idea, or with my students, I will say something like so, and then I will resolve it like this. So I think cause and effect or clauses like that, you know, clauses are one thing. So if you are working with clauses, then you can work with that little lilt going up. But yes, I think it's like a teenager thing that some people don't outgrow. But I think also, I think media is responsible for having lines of dialogue that would have you drop your voice at the end of a sentence. That's not a question. That was the best Brie impression I ever heard. 10 out of 10. I've heard her a little bit, but thank you. And I don't mean to that's just how her. So I mean, even okay, let's say you don't know Brie Larson. Let's say you just didn't know her. You didn't know Gina Carano. Judging by their voice, who would you take more seriously? Voice, especially for women, but I would say for people in general, is really important. I was telling the prof last night, I don't listen to any political commentators, so I really don't have any interest listening to someone like Ben Shapiro. But and this is not like a critique on his person, but he has a very pinched voice for a man, and he speaks really fast. Now I know he's intelligent. I know he has a platform, but he has a really pitched voice, and he kind of like talks like this, and it's like, I mean, now I teach students, okay? I teach students, and I've taught high school boys and middle school boys, and they kind of talk like this, if they're active and they're speaking. Now he's very intelligent, and he needs to get a lot of points across in a certain time frame, so he needs to speak rather rapidly. And actually, I think that my points about Carono's interview, I think it was a little too slow because I was really piecing my thoughts together. So I might have been a little too slow. Now my speech is quickening because now it's an impromptu. I'm talking to you guys. I'm engaging with you guys on the chat. But so yeah, even with men, like I would probably try to find someone who is a man who would have a more it's kind of hard to describe, a more resonant voice that is suitable to men. Who would be a good example? I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Skipper Kenner says there's specific tones which work for voices for me, both male and female. Larson never bothered me in the limited number of times I've listened, nor has Carono. A really, I mentioned this actress last week, Stana Katic. She has a very nice deep voice. I'm just more attracted to women with deeper voices. I always have been, and I'm not perfect. I haven't mastered my own voice, but when I speak deeply, it's actually a sign of being relaxed and calm. Anytime you hear my pitch go up, I'm tired. Maybe I'm not stressed. Maybe I'm not emotionally stressed, but I could be physically stressed. I could have like tension in the neck, in the shoulders, in the back, and stuff like that. And when I'm physically stressed, my voice goes up. Yeah, I agree. Slow talk is a legit technique for males and females. Yeah, I agree. Oh, oops, this isn't to me. I'm sorry. Dr. Y says, for some reason, my YouTube didn't alert me to your stream starting. I've been talking to the chat, not seeing you. I'm greatly embarrassed. Oh, okay. So what happened? I started the video, Dr. Y, with this. So I was working on the thumbnail. I really wanted to have it look right, and I just couldn't get it right. I was spending a long time today getting that thumbnail right, and I care about my thumbnails. And so I posted it on a private stream just to see what the thumbnail looked like. But then I worked. I went straight into teaching after that. So I didn't have time to post it publicly. And then, for the longest time, I'm like, why isn't my video showing? And then, at 9:29 or whatever the time was, I saw that it was still private. So yeah, thanks guys for, coming and in spite of me going private for a while. All right, some chat amongst yourselves. Nanners Network says, there are companies who have people whose sole job is to look at social media for the workers. Yeah, I mean, I know I have kind of just gone over the point, but, yeah, if it causes, grievances to the company, like information that shouldn't be out there, or defaming the company, denigrating the employers and the employees, sure, that kind of social media is irresponsible, and you gotta make sure you as an employee don't do that. It's, if I work at Chick-fil-A, for instance, I'm not gonna if I ever knew the ingredients or how they did it, or how they cooked the chicken, or if I did something that would shame my supervisors or something, yeah, I should be held responsible. But actual political and religious sentiment that has nothing to do with the company is not an automatic endorsement. I think people are not getting that right. I mean, including the companies themselves. It's like, just because you're a company with these people posting these things, this is outside your company. This is outside your control. I mean, what if there's like, dude. First, I was thinking about landlines, and like, what if there was a way that people could tap into landlines and hear people's phone conversations, and they said something political and the company wouldn't have it and they fired? That's ridiculous. But worse yet, I would pray for Christ's return before something like this would happen. But what if we started reading each other's thoughts? And the company says, listen, you thought this about us. Or even better, even safer, listen, you think this politically, you think this religious idea, so we can't keep you employed. Your social media really is your own business. I know that may sound irresponsible, but it's just too much of a liability. It's too much. If a company truly believed that they were held liable for every single social media post their employees, posted, that would just be a legal storm. Anyway, I don't know. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legality of everything. So, and I've never had a business where I've employed people either. So, but see, I never had this problem because I just post music. That's it. Disco Dogsy, nice to meet you. I did some work with Walt Disney and Imagineering and got the impression they were very immature, unprofessional as well. Not surprising. It should be surprising. That's sad. That's, no, that's so sad. Yeah. I mean, this channel isn't like a Disney bash or whatever, but yeah, I expect this of Disney. I expect professionalism of Disney and any company. So in the case with Disney, so this is a problem with Gina Carano. In the case with Disney, people are saying Disney has the right to do this to Gina. Well, okay, that argument is only valid if they do the same to Pablo Hidalgo and Pedro Pascal, who did equally controversial tweets. If it's about the tweets, and if it's about publicity, you got to hold them accountable too. So if Disney did hold them to the same standard that they held Gina Carano to, they probably would have a case. But the thing is, they didn't, so they don't have a case. But again, I actually wouldn't agree if they did that to them too, as abhorrent. Like I say this in quotes because really, I don't want this to be like a geek commentary thing. But if they believe Carono's stuff was abhorrent, they really should look at their other employees and see for themselves if it's abhorrent. Now, first of all, Skipper Kenner, it's not Mickey Mouse's fault. He is the archetype of a hero, and he is not the mascot of the hegemon that we know to be Disney. But let's see what your point is. Blah ha 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 ha. Okay, not true. You can watch employees with a history of trouble more closely. Usually the company has to be aware of the complaints. Now, yeah, answering to complaints, I understand, which I guess people could say, well, this was the case with Carono. But I think there should be an extensive measure when it comes to social media. This is not like customer service where there's a physical engagement. like you're not dealing with like an altercation or something like that, or even just an abusive customer service relationship or environment. And then you get customer complaints, but okay, let's do it the traditional way though. If a worker or a customer has a complaint about me, what happened to me? I was taken to the back. And I was taken to the back one time at Nordstrom. I was an employee of their cafe, and I was not in the wrong, but I was taken to the back and spoken very harshly by the manager. But that's the way to do it. Whether the manager's in the right or wrong, they take you to the back. Okay, they make this a private matter. So with social media and publicity, there needs to be an extensive measure that is kind of like taking the employee to the back room, but on a bigger scale, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Oh, it jumped. Why? Why did it jump? Man. Oh, I've got some other people coming in. LD. Well, yeah, let's talk about this. I knew I was going to have some people like this. Why do people in the chat feel it's worthwhile to defend a celebrity who's expressed such terrible views and was let go by her employer? Well, I hope you listened to most of this chat, because I answered most of those questions. Y'all realize that such people have been protected forever? Yeah, some people have been protected forever. It's called, oh no, I was about to be really political. I'm not going to be political on my channel. But it's called some kind of privilege, and that's not the privilege you're thinking. Oh, it looks like LD's been having an exchange with a lot of our people. Well, welcome aboard, LD. I hope you are welcome here. So, man, well, thanks for engaging, because chat comments on the stream is really good. The more engagement, the better. But just no profanity. That's my rule. And the people who are frequent visitors are they know I don't do profanity or inappropriate remarks. Man, you guys, come on, man. Am I infringing? Oh man, LD, I might have to actually block you, because you're causing me not to catch up on chat. Yeah, and I actually do see that you have a bias. So sorry. I don't like blocking people, but I just lost probably 25 minutes of chat because of that. So sorry for all the comments I missed, and no disrespect to LD, but no, if it causes actual trouble in the chat, I want it to be a fair engagement. So Netters Network. So this is a 10:35. It cut out like 10:33 or something, so that's too bad. I canceled my Twitter account. I quickly came to the realization that I'm yeah. Dun dun dun. Yeah, tweeting. Well, that's a good dad joke, I think. I mean, it's like a good social media dad joke. Horizon Talker says, reason and logic aren't actually the right answer to a tantrum. Usually you either discipline the child or firmly move them along to the next thing. Yeah, I mean, and so I think with any kind of social engagement on social media, if you're just vehemently attacked, repetitive, you either just have to block them, you have to ignore them. You actually see, I don't like excluding people from engaging me on my YouTube, for instance, or the same is true for Twitter, for instance. But if the attacks and the insults are unreasonable and continuous against me, and you're not willing to listen to my cause, you have to be blocked. I would expect to be blocked if I was behaving in that way. For any of you who've been in customer service, especially like in a fast food chain or in the mall, you have had customers berate you, right? You've had people, and it's not a customer because they're not paying you in the case of social media, but even a paying customer, if they feel entitled to constantly berate you and harass you, and you're just trying to do your job, you're just trying to serve drinks or you're trying to serve coffee or whatever, they have to be escorted out of the restaurant or the premise because they're causing disruption. So no one, you can disagree with me and you can be mad at me for saying my opinion. But as Dr. Y puts it, it's like, yeah, I didn't know who this guy was until I started seeing this exchange. But yeah, I'm sorry, LD. I don't want to block you, but you caused a disruption. So anyone who causes a disruption where I can't actually have a normal engagement with my wonderful friends and listeners, I have to cut the cord quite quickly. No one deserves that attention. No one. Schooner Tuners, 40 people in a Zoom meeting about your behavior. It's hard to focus with a bunch of eyes looking at you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 40, it's such an arbitrary number. I mean, select a couple representatives. Yeah, 5 would be enough. I would even think 5 would be too much, but in a private setting. Now, the problem with Zoom is it can be recorded. So all this stuff is abusive in nature. This is an abusive work environment. You got to pull the employee to the back door. You got to have a private conversation about this. Now, if you have a meeting of people, this is in a private room. No audio recording, no surveillance. Make it a private room. Now, okay. I'll say, okay, maybe surveillance is okay, audio is okay in the frame of the company building structure. But a virtual recording that can be messed with and tampered, that could be viral? No. Unbelievable. She was right to decline. And there's not enough money in the world, and there's not enough prestige in the world to put for at least me to put myself in that kind of position. Professor Geek, my professor. I wonder how much the post in question even had to do with it. People had already campaigned to dehumanize and make Gina the bad guy. I suspect they were looking for a reason. As I had said before, it has nothing to do with the tweets, because if it had to do with the tweets, other people would need to be held responsible for their tweets in order for Disney to have a case, I should say. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty wicked thing, but also dehumanizing. Yeah, that's for Carono or for anyone who has undergone this. When you have a supervisor or an employer who does not look after your well-being, it's the worst thing in the world, especially if you have a job that's not paying you well. My last supervisor, he made sure everyone was not only physically well, but mentally well. In a high-stress situation, in a high-stress company with project managers and CEOs and solicitors and contractors, I mean, they took the brunt. The project managers took the brunt of the angry customers all day, every day. And I took the angry phone calls. I took some anger, but not as much anger as the project managers. But my supervisor, I'll never forget him. He really looked after us. It was a small team of people in the office, about 4 or 5 people, and he made sure we were all taken care of mentally. That's what a good employer does. That's what a good supervisor does. Probably got a thumbs down from someone. Muhammad says, I hate Zoom classes. It's like the humanity of the person is stripped from your field of vision on the screen. My friends have all felt ganged up on these unit classes. I kind of hope that this. No, well, okay. I'll say what I was about to say. I do kind of hope that the Zoom university classes really show people how irrelevant university teaching is in terms of online, and they go to online schools, because online schools, I think, were kind of looked down on. They're kind of like community colleges, like, oh, you're taking online school. No, man, if the platform works and if it's an elegant interface and everything is well constructed with good audio and good presentation, yeah, enroll in an online school and get your master's out of an online school. Totally beats university classes on Zoom. This is, it's kind of embarrassing for the universities, guys. They might be adapting fine, but even now it's been over 8 months where I've been teaching half online, half in person. And I always say in person for music lessons is best, although online is viable now that I know. But I still have technical difficulties and technical trouble with things like that. So yeah, imagine though. So I'm talking about a teacher to a pupil, experience on Zoom. Imagine 40 people angry with you, defending yourself in front of 40 angry looking screens. And oh man, they had better show their faces on Zoom, because I know some people, like in their teacher meetings, they'll turn off the camera, like if they're in their PJs or whatever. I for my teacher meetings, I have always been on camera. I always look like this. I always have a nice top, make sure I'm nice, wide awake, all that good stuff. Oh, Peggy Oaks, aren't you from Orville Nation? This is 10:38. I'm sorry, but thanks for coming. Yeah, I think I've seen you from Orville Nation. That was I caught the last few minutes of his stream this evening. It was really cool. Yeah, the creator of Dark Matter was with him. It's Orville Nation interviews really cool people. Horizon Talker says, Fame doesn't play nearly as well on Twitter as Impact does. The limits of Twitter require sensationalism. Yeah, that's true. Your economy on Twitter is how much you can sensationalize. And that's not about me. I remember an entrepreneur saying that when I was listening to entrepreneurs at the time. This is about 2 or 3 years ago when I was listening to them extensively. And they were saying, especially about Twitter, that you have to post what's trending to get people on your business. And I'm thinking, that's kind of a hassle. Well, why should I do the extra research on stuff that I don't really even know about? Oh, but you got to do the trending stuff, because that's what's going to direct people to your business. I'm like, it's going to be slow for me, but it's going to be organic. People are going to listen to me, but it's going to be organic. It's not going to be, they're not going to listen to me just because I'm posting trends. That doesn't sound authentic to me. Doesn't feel it. Wolf10 says, I've had fears about losing my job. Then I remember being fired before, still got the job afterwards. So yeah, no fear, no longer there. Well, I mean, I don't even care if you're in the right and are reprimanded. Being reprimanded doesn't feel good, especially in the professional level or in the academics. So either in your career or academics, being reprimanded. I was reprimanded for doing something I believed was right when I was a barista at the Nordstrom Cafe at the time. And if I had that happen to me again, I would have done the same thing again. But someone told the manager what I had done. And now, like, if I tell you the story and you guys disagree, that like, Michelle, you shouldn't have done that. I go with my conscience. I help a person in need, even if it's giving them free orange juice. There was someone who was really faint, didn't look right, and she asked for a half a cup of orange juice. She's like, I'm about to pass out. I need to get some energy too. And so she asked for a half a cup of orange juice. And so I while I'm making coffee, I gave, so she wouldn't faint. I don't know if her blood sugar was really low, but she didn't look well at all. Well, one barista saw me do that, and she told the manager, and oh man, the manager berated me. Now at the time I was like 23 or whatever, so I couldn't really stand up for myself. But now I would have said, hey, listen, if you had a person keel over and pass out or go into comatose in front of Nordstrom, and there was a reason for that and we didn't help, oh, maybe we could have been held liable. I did, but even if we weren't held liable for that, the woman looked in trouble. And if orange juice was going to help her with her bloodstream and get her energy up just to get to the next place, I'm sorry. Now Sound Engraver at this day and age would have had a lunch with her, so she could have had like a sandwich or an apple instead. But no, I didn't have anything. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you half an orange juice, a cup of orange juice. Probably it was like I gave 40 cents worth of stuff for free for this woman. But I was chewed out. And I still, even being chewed out, I didn't believe I was wrong in doing that. Or, if you guys thought I was wrong in doing that, that's your call. I don't think I was. I felt like I should have done what I did. But even so, even though I felt like I did what was right, I still got the reprimand and it still hurt. Oh, it just like, oh, it doesn't feel good at all. She was really severe about it too. It's like, it's 40 cents of orange juice, man. Daniel Craig says, does that mean people at work are distracted by all of my Marvel Legends paraphernalia? Probably. Depends on what you do, though. Maybe your work environment calls for that. Muhammad says, this weed lad politics was important, and I knew it was the glue of the world. But I always felt that there was also a level of respect for differing views. Now it's fast food. I'm a simple man, but my ways are simple. No, that was good. Man, I missed a lot of drama and chaos on the chat. All right. So let's see. Anyone say anything to me? There was a glass wall for everyone and a respect for culture. I watch a show and feel like a kid. That has evaporated now. Yeah. Oh, it looks like Dr. Y may have mentioned that he lost his work. Yeah, let us know. Keep us updated about your work. I'm sorry. Or if you could find another job with your position and skills. If actually, I mean, it's totally your call, but if you give us a general idea of what you did, maybe we can help out. Oh, Schooner Tuna, Gina is 38. She's 38, and I am going on 34. Whoa, what are your secrets? I must know. Gina, if you see this, I want to hear your secrets too. No, she's 38. She looks good. She's great. She looks awesome. Yeah, I'm pushing 34 in less than a month. So, yeah. My secret is drink a lot of water. Don't drink soda. Eat really healthy and be happy. Also, and I may have mentioned this on stream before, because of my budget, but also because I like to be cerebrally alert, I don't drink alcohol. Now, I'll have, an IPA every now and then, like once or twice a year, but alcohol ages you. Alcohol is like the carbs and the sugar, and especially for women, can really cause the lines and stuff. Now, you can't see it on this, but I do have crow's feet, and I do have lines on my face. But actually, sometimes when it probably sounds a little gross, but once I'm done using the olive oil, what I'll do is I'll after my cooking, if I'm not planning on wearing makeup, I'll put a little olive oil on the lines of my mouth and the lines of my head. You have to look close, but there are lines of head and then the crow's feet here. But my prof thinks I'm perfect, so that's all that matters. Green Lion Girl, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Man, I got a lot of comments. Let's go through. Gabriel Krebs says, much respect for the brave discussion here. Honesty and individual thought is the new counterculture. Unfortunately, it is. How did we get here? Doesn't matter. Don't ever quit. Thank you, Gabriel. I appreciate that. I don't feel I'm particularly brave talking about Gina, and maybe it's because we're in a geek community that, by and large, really supports the actor. Yeah, there used to be a mantra or kind of like a slogan, honesty is the best policy, which I think actually is an Enlightenment term. I think it was one of the Enlightenment philosophers. Was it Kant or Kant? How do you pronounce his? I think it's Kant. That's how you pronounce his last name, right? Immanuel Kant. Yeah, I think it is. I think he started, or one of his contemporaries started, honesty is the best policy, but kind of talking about the truth of being true to yourself. Now, here's the thing. Honesty is a good policy, but you don't want to be honest in a way that will hurt the other person. You want to edify the human person, the human being. So if you're honest about something, you can be honest and you can be expressing your views, but in a way of love and kindness, in a way that edifies the other person, whether they're in agreement with you or in disagreement with you. But yeah, no one likes honesty anymore. Or no, that's not true. Some communities are about honesty. Yeah, if I look like Gina Carano, how she looks at 38, so that's 4 years from now, I'll be happy. It's Kaylee Chow. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Tavagnoni. You followers are very hateful in comments compared to how anti-hate you are talking about being yourself. Well, I mean, I don't know about me. I can't speak for anyone else, but my followers. Well, I mean, they understand. I mean, my people who, well, they're not my followers. They're my friends. They're my listeners. They're my supporters for my art and for geek culture. Now, I mean, how they're, on this certain person here, LD, who I blocked, and if you cause a ruckus, I might have to block you too. Just a fair warning. Don't say that people who listen to me are hateful. Maybe they don't know how to write in a way, but if you listen to them, if you listen to their streams, and if you, well, go on the social media groups, which I probably wouldn't recommend you do because it is geek culture. No, they're not hateful. They're not hateful. They're passionate about that. Now, people, Wolf 10, Melissa Harris, I mean, please mind your words. Please be respectful in your discourse. But no, don't call my listeners very hateful when you don't even know them. That's I think you're being overly sensitive. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know really what's going on in the discussion between people and Mr. LD or Mrs. LD, but Tavigloni, if that's how you pronounce your name, that's not hateful. From what I can see, that's not hateful. I think you're being very overly sensitive and you're responding in a visceral way. You might be overreacting yourself. So please be careful with your words because you're misconstruing you're misconstruing the nature of this channel and also my friends. So if you don't like it, you're more than welcome to step away and go on someone else's channel. All right. Okay, so Green Lion Girl raises a very excellent point. My view on Kathleen Kennedy and Sherigian, I actually don't know. Maybe she's a figure in gaming. I'm not sure. You hate what they do, not them themselves, and that's very important. I mean, there are political figures out there that I pray for their souls. You know, you just really, you know, you got to remember that people who do things that are very questionable and things that are illogical and things that are abhorrent and things that are hypocritical, you got to understand that they are tormented inside in some way. There's a switch. It flips on and they do something illogical, or they do something that is not sound, that is not wise, that is not good. And when you see that, there is a state of torment inside them, inside their minds, inside their hearts, and inside their souls. So we really shouldn't be reflecting hate or anger toward them. We should be praying for them. We should be mindful about what they do and criticize what they do, but not pull them down as a human being. Thank you. Honestly, no false praise here. Your presence is very refreshing. I have an anxiety. Oh, I'm sorry. I have an anxiety disorder, and now my body. Oh my goodness, your channel is very relaxing. My goodness, Mohammed. I'm so sorry that you're undergoing that, but thank you. I sure hope so. I would never want to be a channel that causes stress. You know, yeah, we talk about. I mean, this is a very heavy topic, with Gina Carano, but I would never want to talk about news to an extent that it actually would really aggravate someone. And by aggravating someone, I mean people who are level-headed. Dr. Y says, Ben Shapiro reminds me of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. I can see that just a little bit. Okay, so it's 11:27, and I do have to work. I'm really enjoying the chat here, but closer to the 2-hour mark, I do have to get going and work on my music. Man, I think I might have to skip, and I might not get to the end of the comments, guys. Thanks for making this so engaging. I can't even drink right now. Skipper Kenner says, I found both men and women in my profession do an amazing job, regardless of vocal tones and pitch, simply by appearing calm. That's a very good, important point. Nothing diffuses faster. Matthew McConaughey has his Green Lights audiobook and is a great example of a man control of his voice. Cool. All right. All right. Edie is in the house. Thank you for stopping by to say hi. I'm just trying to go through the comments. All right. A little bit. Yeah, I think there was I think I missed a battle in the chat. Oh man, Skipper Kenner, don't say that about Mickey Mouse, okay? No. Oh, thanks, Knitter, for putting LD in timeout. I actually think I blocked. It's just it's just too much. Again, blocking, I want to say this from my heart. Blocking is not hating. Blocking is saying, listen, you've had your freedom, but you're actually stoking fire, and I'm trying to kind of put out the fire, and you're fanning the flames. And so the way to block those flames is just blocking. All right. Oh man. So okay. Yeah. All right. So guys, I'm sorry. So if LD is not responding, it's because I blocked him or her. I don't know if it's a him or her. And I might, yeah. So I know I'm so late into the game, but that's what happened, guys. So there you go. Oh, it jumped again. Jumped all the way to the bottom. Okay. Looks like you guys are just talking amongst yourselves. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think Netter, it was because of that. Yeah. Thanks actually guys for, putting any unruly behavior on timeout. That's, I'm a teacher. If some student is being unruly, I'm gonna reproach them. No one should have the time or patience for that. Sorry that I'm just kind of looking and scrolling. I don't see anything. You guys are talking to yourselves. What about me? I don't see any comment to me. Okay. Elijah Brown is in the house. You are facing 20 pretty darn angry men. I don't know who you're talking about. Okay. Thank you. Someone tagged me. You acted properly. You are correct. Even if she didn't look like it, you were not wrong. The manager did what they felt was right. That doesn't make her right. Yeah. I mean, maybe she felt right, reprimanding me. Like, if she feels like she, so I gave about half a cup of orange juice, a cup of orange juice. Okay. So like when I was working at Nordstrom's E-Bar, a cup of orange juice, like a 12-ounce cup of orange juice was like $3.50. So I was giving, now store-wise, I was giving the woman probably $1.50 worth of orange juice, but for the actual orange juice, it was like 40 cents. Yeah, so you're saying, how I acted to the woman who, she was shaking. I just she could have put on an act too, just to get some free stuff. Now the manager might have she might have wanted to warn me about not giving free stuff, which I'm fine with. You don't want to encourage employees to give out free retail stuff, at a bar, at a cafe. But she was dramatic. She was really emotional. She was trying to be like forward angry with me. It really intimidated me. And her voiceover was kind of high pitched and all that. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on chats, catch up on comments. It seems like past media was built on wonderment and imagination. Now it feels like it's built on resentment and shock. That's a really good way of putting it. SoundGraver, it's probably a good thing you missed the chaos. Your listeners got your back. Well, I appreciate that, Wolf 10. I mean, I'm not going to control you too much on how to speak on, but on my channels, as long as it's not with profanity or anything. And I didn't, from what I could see, I didn't see any profanity. So, but someone called you hateful, and I didn't see hate on the comment. I would have seen, I would have known. But the thing is, Even if one of you guys had a post that looked hateful, see, the thing is, I know who you are. I've been with you in chat. I've talked to you on my streams. I hear you guys on your streams from time to time. I can read who you are. I know who you are. And so even if your text or your comment is curt to someone, no one who doesn't know you should call you hateful, because they don't understand the context of the comment. So let's say I want to be very careful. I really want to be careful with this when I talk about this. But someone accusing someone they don't know of being hateful in text, what if they don't know that person has a mental disability? We're really not able to engage appropriately with typing. But what if you knew that and you're defending them? See, don't call people hateful when you don't even know them. And that's what Gina Carano is dealing with. She got articles and headlines just bashing her and telling her how horrible she was as a person, how she needed probably help or whatever the case is. And her response to that in the interview, she was like, "Do you know me?" I mean, how offensive is that? So yeah, I mean, no. Especially, people who just jump on my chat. Oh, there goes my cable. Especially people who jump on my chat who maybe have never been on my chat, maybe once or twice, trying to pick a fight. You don't know the story. You don't know these people. You don't know me. So please think these things through, if I could say that right. Think about what you're about to post. Think about what you're about to accuse someone of. So anyway, I hope I got your backs too, guys. I don't think you're a hateful bunch. You're a passionate bunch. Yep. Although even if you're passionate, though, I still honor politeness and kindness and decorum, because that's just me as a Christian. Let's see. Daniel Craig says, "SoundCloud, don't stress and get sleep. I used to look like I was 24 until my mom's stroke. And I was constantly worn out, and now I look older than my older brother." Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be ignorantly happy. I know when to be serious. I know when to grieve. I know when to cry. I know when to be emotional and be serious and be somber. But as far as turmoil and toiling that is actually vain, that is actually vanity. I'm reading Ecclesiastes, and it's about the constant physical toil, the labor, the work, and ultimately to acquire wealth and riches, if it's not aligned with God's will, if it's not in God's will, it's vanity, because we're a vapor, we're a breath. Wealth in God's hands, or fame in God's hands, or acumen or acclaim. If it's in God's hands, then there is purpose. But the toiling and the striving outside of that goodness, that's where we can get really hyper stressed and hyper anxious. And I don't think hyper anxious is a word. Hypersensitive? I don't know what I'm trying to say. But outside the context of good, your work outside the context of good, that striving, that burnout, it is vanity. So I'm serious on one end when I have to be, but I also just really do enjoy a life of peace and quiet and just fellowship and entertainment and prayer and all that good stuff. But I also have youth in my gene. My genes. I have longevity and youth on my dad's side of the family. So I think I lucked out with some of my DNA. But you know what ages me? I'll tell you this. What ages me is actually a lot of makeup. So I try not to wear a lot of makeup. I try to wear enough where I don't look tired. But I kind of look tired right now. I don't feel tired. I'm not that sleepy. Professor Geek says, don't believe it, folks. Sound Engraver is a vision of beauty, and I've seen her blissfully close up. Perfect indeed. Well, I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I do love my prof flirting with me on that. And you know what I haven't heard in a long time is Al saying, "Where's my dollar?" Well, how much do we owe you, Al? I don't think we owe you that much. Daniel Craig says, my job is in the space industry. Are those Wolverine action figures still applicable now? That's cool. That is cool. Wolf 10 is also 33, pushing on 34. All right, Wolf 10 says, truth be told, saw the confrontation coming. The title was a target on your back, but again, we have a vigilant crowd here. I said some critique. I had a critique on Ahsoka Tano. I mean, I'm expecting this, but some people who accuse Carono of being hateful really have to take a step back and say, okay, if you say this about her, you need to say this about everyone else. You have to. And if you cannot do that with people you admire, you certainly can't do that with people you disagree with. You have no say. You have no argument. It's just because you're inconsistent. You got to be consistent with your views. And then Gabriel something said, that is what I meant by brave. I think I know your context. Oh, I think you were saying that to me on a previous discussion, right? Like not what am I trying to say? We had the brave and honest discussion that you pointed out. I was like, oh yeah, I don't feel like it's brave though, but we had already talked about that. I'm living in the past right now. The recent past. Sound great. Skipper Decatur says, I'm more of a follower, but it's because I'm fat and can't keep up. Well, I mean, again, I hope you like my music. My album's coming out soon, and if you don't like it, you don't have to say it was great. If you didn't care for it, you could give your honest opinion. But since you did support my campaign, I'll get that discount code for you. I mean, it's $5, not even a fraction of what you gave me in support, but yeah. Well, get back into kickboxing. Kickboxing classes are expensive, and I teach 6 days a week in the evening. I probably could find like a kickboxing class in the morning, but I'm not a morning person, and you have to have a partner. So I'd have to get introvert me has to get to know someone else. I had my roommate as my partner when I was doing it. Green Lion Girl says, whenever I ask someone to read over my work, I ask them to rip it to shreds. I feel like honesty and criticism is the only way to find your weaknesses. It is true. But they can do that in a loving way, too. Dr. Y says, the company I work for got the axe due to the parent company going, through bankruptcy. I'm sorry. Well, I hope you find a similar position in another area. That's rough. I'm really sorry. I will pray for you, Dr. Y. Yeah, Wolf 10 says, yes, ma'am. I'm trying to be less confrontational next time. And it's like, you're not fat, you're cuddly. Dude! You are like the third or fourth person who said that about me. You remind me of a young Hillary Swank, and that's awesome. I only know her from the second Karate Kid. I haven't seen her in other stuff, but I'll take that as a compliment for sure. Jedi Masters Utopia says, this is, and I'm gonna say this, yeah, this is one of the most positive, upbeat online communities I've seen. We have important discussion. My mouth is going dry. We have important discussions where sometimes we don't agree, but it's almost always respectful. SC should be proud of that. I am proud. And you guys are really, I know I speak in a more or less clean language. I don't like profanity. I don't like the Lord's name in vain. You know all of that about me. But you guys chose to honor that in my chat. You guys could have bounced and you stuck around, and I know it's not the same with other channels. You're free to be a little bit more of your own, have your own expression on their channels, and they welcome that those are their boundaries, and I have my boundaries too, and you honor that. You respect my boundaries. That to me shows an incredible sign of respect, and I love that. That actually means a lot to me, that you guys have been so kind and respectful in my needs there on stream. I don't take that for granted at all. Oh man, it jumped. All right, it's almost no, it's 1:45. I still got time. But my water's getting low. When the water goes out, I will also peace out. All right. Oh, where are we? I stopped on Jedi's wonderful comment. Yeah. All right. There we go. I have moderators just in case if any one person comes to my stream looking for a fight. Yeah, I think it's important. I sort of forgot about that. I sort of forgot we had moderators to do that. Because, I don't get confrontation, so. Oh, Melissa Harris says, Sound Engraver, Wolf 10 and Ned are troll slayers. Yeah, but I think they do it in a diplomatic way, right? Elijah Brown says, I was referring to the Zoom call statement, Sound Engraver. You said they were upset I made a movie reference. Oh, got it. So Elijah Brown, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm really, really bad at movie references. I'm just, I'm not, I said it before a long time ago. I just started watching movies, and getting into my mid 30s, I'm just starting to watch movies. So I don't know popular culture outside like the geek news that we kind of partake in, and Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all that good stuff. All right. Yeah, I agree, Gabriel. They saw the title and thought it was an easy target. See, yeah, but they don't know they're going to be blocked. And now, actually, LD raised a good point. He or she, I don't know who it is. They said, I saw the comment saying, is this supposed to be an echo chamber? I'm like, well, in a way, yes, because a lot of people, just agree on the same stuff. I'm not for echo chambers. I really want people to think independently. And so it just happens that we are more or less mutual agreement about this case with Gina Carano. But LD shouldn't berate echo chambers if he's or she is not going to berate other echo chambers. See, again, consistency. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to practice. All right. By the way, this is no respect to LD, whoever they are, but Schooner Tuna says, if anything, LD's comments brought out the Gina Carano in all of us. Everyone in this channel handled LD's comments well. At least that's what I saw. I didn't see anything bad. Like, I was scrolling, so I was kind of reading through it fast, but I didn't see anything full of hate. But again, we got to remember in this community, I would say just socially, like in society, people are going to see disagreement and being disagreeable as hateful. You can be disagreeable but not be hateful. I know people who are disagreeable, but they're not hateful. We're stamping hate on everything, and we got to knock it off. And so my community is not full of hateful people. And for people to accuse my listeners and my friends for, saying that they're hateful, they don't know them, and they don't know me. So anyway, I probably got 2 thumbs down for that. All right. Wolf 10 says, it warms me to hear you say that of us, all of us. The personality behind the text, the character. Thank you for saying that. I do know your personalities and characters. But again, I'll do my best not to get confrontational, because I feel Wolf 10's like, I can hear his voice right now. I can hear him go, whew. It is a shame that I teach during your streams. I do enjoy your streams when I get the chance. All right. I will call it midnight because I want to do a couple things before going to bed. Yes, that actually is true. The Bible doesn't call us to be nice. It calls us to be good. That's great. Yeah, I love that. When I say nice, I mean kind, as in edifying people. So actually, Christians are called to edify brothers and sisters in Christ. But I think that can be extended to people out in the world that don't share the Christian faith. But when a person needs to be reproached, they should be reproached, even if they're a free-thinking adult. If they're getting out of bounds, they have to be reproached. There's just no other way of handling it. I remember being belittled on floor, on deck in a cafeteria. I was a barista, Starbucks. I was being belittled to the point where I looked at, and she had a very forward personality, and I liked her. I was friends with her, but she had a very forward personality, and I looked at her straight in the eye. I said, "You do not do that to me," and she stopped. And I hated reprimanding her. I don't like punishing people. It's not fun. Like when my student is misbehaving or they're giving me an attitude and I reprimand them, it doesn't feel good. I don't have that power complex. I'm like, haha, like I have the power and authority. I don't have that complex at all. But you have to do that sometimes. It's kind of funny that some people did target my chat because I don't have a huge channel. So they're going after the little guys too, not just the 100K plus. Thank you, Gabriel. God is sovereign. We often insist on trying to help him. Vanity, indeed. That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah. All right. Da, 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 da. Well, I mean, okay, so Daniel, I haven't looked for a partner in kickboxing. This is the introvert talking to me. In all my years of martial arts experience, I've never heard of such a thing. That's true. That is true. Yeah, I bet I could be wrong, but I would take that. I would take it that you're a fan of Gina Carano. I mean, yeah. So anyway. All right. Now I'm getting sleepy. I'm seeing more practices. Oh, that's so cool. That's such a compliment. Like in the second Karate Kid, I mean, she's really sweet looking. I like that. I like the comparison. But yeah, I've been called that. I've been compared to her probably 3 or 4 times in my life. Compare myself to Donald Duck. Sometimes because people don't understand what I say. I get frustrated at very small things too easily. Oh, I'm sure, Nanette. I'm sure the thumbs down was before I blocked them. So anyway, I think I caught up on chat. I may have skipped some stuff, but hey, that's great. So let's just wrap things up here. Thanks for a great discussion. Hopefully I wasn't too slow in my note-taking lecture part. But anyway, what is on the dock for this week? We've got Wolf 10, WCR. Tuesdays and Thursdays, he's got topics. And also, Wolf 10, go ahead and write down your, if you have special guests, but also topics and times. But Tuesday and Thursday, usually 2:30 p.m., I believe. We've got Catholic Bible Geek with The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Voyage of the Dawn Treader. The fifth installment, the chronological reading of Chronicles of Narnia. On the Catholic Bible Geek channel with the Professor and Big Al Presents. And that is 9, I think that's 9 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. We've got our Wednesday night streams with Soundtracks with Birdman with Daniel Herron and Agent Boomer. I think they're doing Fistful of Dollars, but I thought they did that last week. So if they're on stream, I don't think they're on stream tonight. That might be the movie. That's what I saw on the thumbnail. And then also Green Lion Girl with her gaming stream. I think ballparking, was it 8 or 9 Eastern time, Green Lion Girl? And then we have Professor Geek on the Kenobi study series. And also Catholic Bible Geek. Are you doing any fixed video this week? Or is it just more studies? Or what is going on there? Okay, that's Thursday. We've also got Second Cup Cafe by Fanman on Wednesdays and Fridays, ballparking 11:30 Eastern time in the morning, getting into noontime Eastern time. And also we do have our, Fanman might do something with Big Al and the Prof this week as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that schedule is going. And then Matthew Flynn has something with Troy this Sunday. Oh, more Transformer talk. Part 2. Matthew, I was looking for your video. So I'm not on MeWe. I was looking for your videos. I'll have to find them. I just remember I couldn't find your videos on YouTube. But I'll keep looking. Okay, Green Lion Girls, Final Fantasy VII Remake at 9 p.m. Cloud spending time with Eris. Mystery of the Batwoman rewatch Friday at 6 p.m. with Wolf 10. That's cool. So rewatch with Wolf 10. That's awesome. Good. Professor Geek says, just released a couple of fixed videos. I'll do that again with John Study Thursday. And yes, Fanman and his fantastic friends on Friday. I think that's going to be like 8 or 8:30 Eastern time. Now, I did see, and I need to rewatch it because I only caught a fraction of it because I was getting ready for the stream. But it looks like I know he had one on the Joker, the Joker caused the Corella, the sympathetic villain trope now that it's become with Disney's Hollywood or Hollywood Disney, whatever the case is. So I'm going to listen to that again. I didn't listen to it all the way because I was getting ready. And then cool. Glad you got your fixed videos there, Prof. What's the Saturday night rewatch? Oh, there it is. Netter says Saturday is on Big Al's channel, Glory. Awesome. Cool. So Films with Friends, Saturday, 10 p.m. And I think that does it. So, of course, I have my sound experimentation fixed video. I do say fixed video. I think I made the Prof said that. I'm like, I don't know why I say fixed video, but, fixed to live stream. I do have my the sound experimentation videos on Thursday. Hopefully more SuperCollider with some amplitude modulation. So ambient sounds with amplitude modulation. That's my goal. I hope to make some really pretty sounds with that. Pretty effective sounds too. And then we've got my, of course, live commentary every Monday nights. I don't know if I'll have time to do to work on a soundtracks video today or this week. We'll see. It depends. But in any case, until I see you next, keep producing the art you love, keep preserving and defending the art you love, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.